Dorothy with That Scrapbooking, and I am going to work on the third alternate layout for Honey Bunny. And so you start off with a sea glass background. That's the big background paper. Now this background paper is a 10 by 10. This is how I started off. A 10 by 10 white daisy. And so I am just going to attach it right in the middle of my cutting sheet and layout sheet. And I am going to use the same pattern layout as they do in the instructions because they have a fairly, not really random, but I mean, they've spaced all the colors very nicely there. And it's not like they did an even job of using the paper. So like there's no bunny paper showing, and they have, I believe, 10 pieces of the yellow dot with the peach background. So they use a whole lot of that. So it's not showing all of the papers. So anyway, I start off with you putting the first piece. So you get a 1/4 of an inch border all around. So that's the first thought. And so I decided putting the first 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 square right in the middle, kind of zeroing and putting it on equidistant of the 0. What they didn't show in the instructions, they showed it in kind of a weird way, is that between each of the 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 squares is actually 3/8 of an inch. They didn't write that on the instructions. They kind of did some kind of measurement from say the far upper left of where the butterflies are over to the next yellow. So, and they gave that as 4 1/8. So I just assumed that these are a 1/4 of an inch apart since there's a 1/4 of an inch border. I didn't do the math. Then you'll be happy to know that after I did everything to kind of make this work, I did the math. And so for you all, if you're putting this together, the spacing in between the inside squares is 3/8 of an inch, not a 1/4 of an inch, like you see me doing here. So I end up having to cut a piece of 10 1/4 by 10 1/4 white daisy to accommodate the fact that the bottom row of my squares was totally hanging off the edge. So there you have it. So if you can trust my math, which this went to the limit of my math, it's 3/8 of an inch in between each of the inside squares. Remember that the outside border is 1/4 of an inch top, bottom, left, right sides. And I'm shedding on top of everything else. So, and I am using the, if I haven't said this, I'm using the pattern that they did on their instructions of the colors. So, no bunnies, which I think the bunnies are so darn cute, but that's okay. I mean, quite a bit of this gets covered up by the background frames for the pictures, which are done in Glacier, right up there. And those little strips that actually have little hearts, the little white pieces are hearts, are zip strips that were cut up according to the instructions, which, let me just tell you that the instructions say that the 2 little heart zip strips get cut at 1 by 5 inches, 1 by 4 inches, 1 by 3 inches, and then cut 4 of them at 3 inches. So the flower zip strip gets cut into 5 by 1/2, which that's what the zip strips are, is 1/2 of an inch. So 5 is one length and 3.5 is another, and then the little bunnies get cut up into 5 by 5s. But that's if you're making the cards that are part of the instructions at the end of the 3 layouts. I happen to not do that. I didn't do the cards. So that was me cutting you off, is realizing that the whole end is hanging off. And so this is what I did. I cut it 10 1/4 by 10 1/4, cut off the edges of the other white one, and just plastered it all on the new piece that I cut. And so there's going to be 3/4 of an inch instead of an inch of the sea glass showing, and I'm fine with that. It is a pretty layout, though, isn't it? Look at those colors. It's really just springy and cheerful and kind of uplifting. It's real pretty. And then these little pieces, now they're going to get, because they were cut at 1 inch each, like 1 by 5s, they're going to get tucked under a little bit. So see, it just works out just fine. And it just gets tucked under by just a tad. And this ridiculously small pieces, which I have to tell you, I had a hard time picking them up just because they're so tiny. But they go at the top and bottom of each of these little flowered pieces with the bunnies on the back. And it is going like 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches down. And those things are like 1/8 of an inch by 1 inch. So, I mean, little, hard to pick up, hard to maneuver, little teensy pieces. Isn't that crazy? But it does make a difference. Kind of makes the sage against the sea glass is just too much of sameness. So this makes it stand out a little bit. And I'm just going to cut off the extra little edges that are hanging off, because they were cut to go over 1 inch, and they're only like about 1/8 of an inch shorter. So these are the glacier photo frames, backgrounds for the photos. And, you know, I put a 4 by 6 thing on there, but I think it actually can take a 5 by 7. I think that's for a 5 by 7. So that would be a nice spring picture to put on there. Whether you want Easter pictures, doesn't have to be Easter, it can just be springtime, or some flower pictures. I need to get to the Dallas Arboretum because it's my favorite time of year of Dallas blooms. So I'm going to put, the one went on a little bit of a tilt, and it's like, I'll tell you what that tilt is for the 5 by 7. The top of the larger one goes over by like 1.5 inches, and the bottom of it gets scooted over to 1 7/8 inches. So it's just off by, it's just a little bit of a tilt. And then the 4 by 4 is like 1 and then 1 1/4 inches at the bottom. So just a little bit of a tilt. And I've got my piece of White Daisy, and that's, the title is going to go on that. And so that is, tell you exactly what size it is. I'm going through my papers here, and it is 2 by 4. And so this is going to be a title, and I added a little blush of the peach with my blending brush. And spring is going to get stamped in intense black ink. Oh my gosh, Daisy is just driving me crazy. All those little clicks you hear are her nails on my floor. She just had a big breakfast, and yet she wants biscuits. She's been outside, so it's not outside. She wants biscuits. She's gotten into a bad habit. So this was always one of my favorite things to say in spring is spring has sprung. And so that is going to go right below spring. So that's a great title for spring pages. So this is a nice stamp that can give you, you know, a bunch of spring type pages. Okay, so I'm just taking my jotting pen and just making a little hand-drawn line going around the outside edge and putting some little slash marks just because, you know, that's kind of fun to do. It almost looks like exclamation points for the thing. And I'm just taking a little bit of my, you know, what's left over on my blending brush and just kind of doing the edges a little bit. Not much is coming off, but that's okay. And I'm going to pop up my little title here. And that's, you know, that's exactly what this page looks like. It just looks like spring has sprung. Little tiny flowers all over the place and little butterflies. And it just has a really, really cute look to it. So I'm just putting it above the 4x4 frame. Actually, the frame is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, but a 4x4 picture can fit on it. And then I'm going to add some of the little honey bunny dots. So we're going to get a big blue and 2 little peach ones. And I don't really see anything else. I need one more of the zip strips to go above that one. I'll do that later because I can't find it right now. Okay, so here comes page 2, and it has a lot more pieces to it. I'm going to exchange. So I did cut another 10 1/4 by 10 1/4 to use as the background for the picture frames because they might as well match. Otherwise, the 1 inch would look much bigger than the 3/4 of an inch page sitting next to it. So, you know, I can always use a 10 by 10 piece of cardstock, white cardstock, not a big deal. Okay, so I've got all of these pieces. I'm going to go ahead and put my white daisy in place at 3/4 of an inch border all around. Kind of eyeballing. And then we've got a piece of the large. Here's all the bunnies. They're so cute. But I do like these flowers. I think they're just absolutely lovely. So I'm going to put one of the yellow strips up there. It's 1 by probably 10. And then the other strip. And then the green background goes right in between them. I am looking up those strips. So they're 1 by 9 3/4 by 1 by 8 3/4 when you cut them. And I miscut these. So those should be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, all 4 of them. For some reason, I made the peach like 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. So who knows what I was thinking, and maybe I was working in the dark, not unusual for me, and didn't have my good glasses on. So always work with your good glasses is the bottom line here. So I end up cutting off like a 1/4 of an inch from each of the peach backgrounds. So those are meant for like 4 by 4 pictures. I end up using the lower peach one as a place to put one of the journaling stickers from my sticker sheet, because there's not a whole lot of room for doing journaling. So that's what I decided to go ahead and put my a big journaling sticker on there. And it's a real cute one from the sticker sheet. So, you know, I might tell you right now that if you go to dorothy.closetomyheart.com and go all the way over to the tab that says more and down towards the bottom, the second from the bottom, there is a tab, a line that says worksheet guides. And you can download 4 years worth of workshop card and scrapbook layout guides from Close to My Heart. 4 years worth. That's a lot of patterns that you can, if you have the Close to My Heart papers, fine and dandy, you can use those. But if you don't, you can put your own coordinated papers together to use these guides. So, like I said, it's dorothy.closetomyheart.com, and then go to the tabs running across the top. It says more. Click on more and go down to workshop guides. And if you know how to download and put them onto your computer, great. I will be doing a video of how to do that exactly, and just exactly what I'm showing you. But anyway, I think that they're just trying to make sure that as they close, which I haven't really done a video on that yet because I just trying to deal with it, but I will. But I'll do a video on that too, of Close to My Heart closing. And you know, it's a sad time for all of us that have used their absolutely wonderful and beautiful products. Their papers especially are just crazy beautiful. So I needed to do actually 3 bunnies to color them. I already had the thin cuts cut out, but I should have done these when I was doing all the other bunnies. But this goes on these 2 pages. So we have one of these, and then there's the little leaping or running bunny, and then there's also the little bunny, which I don't have right here, but I do in a little bit. So I clean him off and put him back, and then get the running bunny and put him on. And then I'll color him just exactly the way I did the other bunnies, with my water brush and the Acorn and Peach ink. So it's the same way that I did the first set of bunnies. So I do think they're absolutely adorable. And they're actually not a whole lot different than the bunnies that live and breed in my backyard. So those baby bunnies are, dear goodness, they're just so beyond adorable. But anyway, I've enjoyed watching them for the 25 years that I've lived here. Yeah. It's so I do the regular squeeze. I think I must have burned myself. I have a red spot on my hand, and I think it's a burn. Didn't even realize what I was doing. Moving too fast. Here we go. So I didn't put enough water, squeeze enough water onto my brush, and so I've got it kind of dark here. So I'm going to have to go over and try to blend it a little bit. You can't really blend too much on just non-watercolor cardstock, just so you know. So you kind of want to make it work the first time. But I clearly didn't use enough water. So I'm just letting the color run out as I get close to the little belly, so it looks like it's fading into white. So very similar to what you've seen me do. Kind of run the color down, and it gets lighter as you run it down. So just picking up a little color. You can see how that water just soaks right into that paper, can't you? I don't appreciate that when I'm doing it. it's way more obvious on the video here. Just getting his little feet and his little ears. I could have done a nicer job, I think. The cardstock was getting a little bit too wet. Little pink noses and little pink ears. So there we have those two bunnies, and they'll get popped up on their pages. See how the water is soaked through. It doesn't take much water, so you have to be careful when you're using regular cardstock instead of watercolor cardstock. And I'm trying to leave enough room to put the picture underneath. I kind of got in the way, but anyway, we put him down, and then we've got, I have these other little, they look like kind of washi tape they look like they're holding the pictures in place. And so I'm just going to, pop them up a little bit. And that way the pictures can scoot under them and not be, not have them on top of the pictures. So it just makes it easier for putting the pictures down. So each of those are going right on top of the picture without getting stuck onto the color cardstock. So I was in my close-up mode and didn't move back. And then I'm putting this one over here with a little piece to add to the 4x4. And she's going to get popped up. Mama Bunny's going to get popped up. Here we go. So, Mama Bunnies don't stand over their nest unless they're feeding the babies. They kind of drop by a couple of times a day. One is usually around 7 o'clock at night. I don't know when the morning one is. But they don't hang around. I think they try to keep away so that there's no interest in the nest. And the nest is just for the bunnies in our backyard, just little kind of divots in the grass. And she pulls out some of her hair to, help fur the nest up. So there's the little journaling sticker that I pulled from the sticker sheet. So that's perfect for having a little place to put your journaling for the pictures. So I'd rather that. I could always add more pictures with flip flaps to the other pages, to the other backgrounds. But so, you want to put your journaling there. That's important. That's really important, because pictures without who it is and what it is and when it is are just pictures. They can be anybody's pictures. When you're not around anymore to explain what it is, they're just pictures that could go into a restaurant and nobody would know who you were or who your family was. So journaling is just really, really important. And I'm coloring up my little bunny. Just trying to add a little color. On his little paws. And now a little peach. There we go. And somehow I decided that his little eye wasn't dark enough. So I get out my journaling pen and darken his eye. I don't know whether I made him look evil or not. Look at that cute little bunny on the sticker. That's really it's so cute. They look like they're looking at each other. I tried to make eyelashes. He doesn't quite look evil, but just remember, people, that the enemy of good is better. So you can take something that was okay, and then you try to make it better, and it comes out to be not so great. This was our theme in research, that the enemy of good is better. So here is my layout. Now I don't have pictures to put on it yet. I think I'm saving them for going to Dallas Blooms this year. And so we haven't done that trip yet, but here is the third layout for a Honey Bunny in an alternate layout. Now, if you look, I put a link to the instructions for this, and it's in one of the comments. So if you're interested in getting all the how-to instructions, then you can seek out that link and have the instructions for yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna just tuck that under and put these little, so see, they take 4x4s, and then this is the 4x6. This is what I was saying. It could easily take a 5x7. Your choice. So there we go for the Spring Has Sprung. So I hope you enjoy it, and thanks so much for watching. Bye now.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.